All right, pre-show shenanigans. I know you've seen this, Grant, as you were at one point an advocate, somebody who actually went and did this. But you've seen the videos of one guy specifically setting like who does like the tripod stance. He like films himself going in a Target, and, like getting ready in the morning.
I'm confused how I've done this before, but go on.
Inspirational talks on my walks,
Oh,
but
just
um,
vlogs. Okay.
vlog.
Yeah, I used
But
to be a
this is a
vlogger
little bit
back in my
different.
day, guys.
Yeah, yeah, big vlog guy.
Side
That
note, side note.
yeah,
One day we'll get
uh,
those back.
free him, free him. But
Gotta
you've
find
seen
my
the
middle school email, dude. It's a mess. Huh.
you've seen the videos of like this guy is like going through his whole like routine and stuff. Like it's a whole joke now.
Yes, yes. I know
So
what you're talking about. Like guys going out like grocery shopping and it's a joke.
yeah,
And
and
yes,
it's like they have like the tripod up and they're like
yes,
filming themselves pick the groceries.
yes.
I saw one the other day where it was a joke about it, but it was like getting ready to or like having like filming himself going to get like a midnight snack and he's like getting McDonald's and he goes from sitting in his sweats and stuff, goes, takes a shower, puts on a nose strip, like gets all dressed, puts perfume like cologne on, then
Mhm.
goes to McDonald's in the drive-through, gets
Yeah.
it, and then comes
Not
back.
seeing anybody. Did not need to put on anything. Yeah, get
No,
that.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think the trend here, it's let me think. Let me think exactly what this like trend they're making fun of, because I
So
know exactly what you're talking about, but is it making fun of girlfriends like when they go out shopping? Like
no,
what exactly?
it's making fun of literally one dude who actually does it.
Oh,
Like
oh,
that's what
one
he
guy
actually
legit.
does.
So is this
Legitimately does it.
somewhat related to the one California guy who went out to New York asking for a scooped bagel? Is
No,
this
completely different.
okay?
Those are two very
No, no, no.
drastically different
Okay.
things.
I know the overall theme is completely different, but the
No,
same
still very
sense of
different.
making fun of a guy who thinks he's in the right, doing
No,
something outlandish.
there's no making fun. Like it's not in the right or wrong. It's just making fun of the fact that this
Well,
is
I
what this
think
guy
it's wrong
does.
to go out shopping, post up tripod your camera of you
But
putting
it's
everything in your car.
but
No,
it's
there's
like
something wrong with
it's
that.
not that. It's not that. It's this guy sets up his camera like it's following him throughout the day. So he'll drive to
Oh,
Target,
oh,
he'll put the camera down on the car and then film himself then
okay. I think I'm
parking.
thinking of a separate trend where specifically men go out specifically to like a Target or like a fucking Trader Joe's and they like make fun of their girlfriends who like go
No.
out and make those
This is like
videos.
this guy is like it's this guy. He'll drive to Target and right before he parks, he'll get out of his car, set the tripod up so it
I
can
might need an
film him
example.
parking.
I
I'm surprised you
might need
haven't
an
seen
example.
this before.
I
Hold on,
think I know what this is, but I just need to exactly
I
see
will
it so I
find
can
it.
quite digest. And
I will have to find it, but I think that this would be a hilarious fantasy football punishment that you have to do this like every day for like
so
I don't know
one
like a
thing
month.
that we're thinking, like in another one of my leagues, it's been a couple of years since our last place person has done their punishment. Now we set this
Oh,
up
you
years
that's
ago. And no, 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 it's bad. Like I don't know how we can salvage this. The only way I think we can salvage this moving forward as the commissioner of that league is if I also do a league punishment, even though I've never came in last over the last 5 years,
why should you have to do it though?
just to show that I am willing to sacrifice something on my end for the good of the league. I am willing to do something for the betterment of the league. And for this punishment we're considering, the punishment we've had in place for a while is that the last place person needs to jump into three separate fountains at the Third Street Promenade. So they got the dinosaur fountains. Everyone's throwing little coins. You have to jump into three separate fountains. Really not that bad. Like
No.
really not bad at all.
Uncomfortable, definitely.
But compared to like the 24-hour IHOP challenge, not even comparable. Like that is
No.
way worse. So in terms of that, it's like not actually that bad. Like if my friends kidnapped me right now and were like, "You're jumping in the fountains," like screw it, I'm jumping in the fountains. But
Yeah,
that's what we're
you're going
starting
for it.
with. We don't think that's a bad enough punishment though. Like I'm willing to do that right now. So what we are trying to modify it to is lot of towns, a lot of cities do it for Thanksgiving. They got like their turkey trot 5K. We're considering making all the former losers run that turkey trot 5K in a wetsuit.
You know what would be better? I saw somebody do this the other year is doing that in the dinosaur costume.
like that's all, like doing it in like a massive like custom PJ onesie that's extremely fuzzy and shit. Like that's the same thing, you know, just like running it in a fucking gorilla suit. Like you're going to be dying halfway through, not even halfway through. 5 minutes in, I'll be profusely sweating. That's the goal here. We want to make you as uncomfortable as possible. We want to make you, at least for the night before, dread that you came in last place.
I'm gonna text you this video, or this link to this video right now that I was talking to I was talking about earlier.
You send it?
Because yeah, I just texted you. It's gonna make so much more sense now. I feel like you've definitely, there's no way you haven't seen it. I think everybody else knows what I'm talking about.
I know. Yes. This is. But real quick, I think people are now starting to make fun of this specific guy.
Yes, and they go that's what I was saying.
Okay,
that's exactly what I was saying.
Yes. Okay, so moving forward. Well, what was the next little clincher of this? Like, where's the next video? Like, did Brock Purdy make one of these? Like, what's coming up next? Like,
well, it's just the fact
Davis
that everybody's
Mills,
like,
did he just make a TikTok of this? Like, where are we going? Hey. Stetson? Did Stetson finally come back?
That would be a Stetson. That would be a Stetson thing. No, it was the general thing was just like everybody being like, I can't go to the grocery store. I got to come back home. I forgot my tripod. Like, fuck. I can't go buy stuff.
Like, I mean, if I were to slightly relate to that, when I was making my vlogs, I'd be sitting around, going around, being, well, side note, I had to film on an iPad, so it was kind of obvious to everyone that I was filming when it was out. But yeah, I can definitely think of some moments where that iPad was on like 20% battery, and I'm like, everyone, drop everything you're doing. Give me the XL booster charger, because at that point those things were rare.
It's the long thick one.
I got one on right here. I'm talking this block. Back in the day, this was like a rarity to find one of these.
It's that, but are we also talking about like the literal part that plugs into the iPad used to be like that long, like, you know,
we weren't on that age. Still on still on the lightning cable. Still on this one, but like the lightning cable just came out. Like we just went from the big square rectangle charger to this. But yeah, I mean, real quick, just on the topic of vlogs, yeah, that thing died. Vlogs, those are dead. Are there any YouTubers who still vlog right now and they're like popping off it? I don't think so.
I think that's more what podcasts are now, though. Like podcasts, that's what I'm saying.
Like all the vloggers, they either went into podcasting or they're just
like, look at you. This is exactly an example. This is an example. You are here.
Shit, I'm you could say, because I came from vlogging, that I am an internet nepo baby in a way. You could say that. You could say that.
I mean, I did YouTube too, but it was a little bit different.
I technically was on Vine too. So
I was not. I just had YouTube. Yeah, both Grant and I. Fun facts.
I had to delete my Vine account. Got in trouble with my middle school. So yeah.
Fun fact: Grant and I were both previous YouTubers.
I think that might be, well, not really me. More, well, I guess vlogs, but I would say you were the more so what you would think of a YouTuber back then, because vlogs were not quite what middle schoolers were making back then.
No, not what middle schoolers were making. No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you guys got to check out the Division kicking giraffe video, fucking iconic. But okay, I think that's gonna wrap up the pre-show. But all right, this could be an interesting episode. Cannot say I thought things were gonna happen yesterday, which did happen. But before we dive into it, both of our pre-playoff natty predictions are both eliminated. So that
I was nice. This close though. I was this close.
Of course, we should have known. When you pick Texas, I pick Bama. It's like they're both going to lose in the first round. After this is how this is going to happen now. But okay, without further ado, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today is episode 183. Massive weekend.
First episode of 2024.
Yeah, that is also true. First episode of 2024.
And we're starting off swinging, posting this late.
Kind of late. We'll see, but yeah, slightly late. But we have an excuse with the playoff games. Now, we said this before, was that the most entertaining matchups in college football playoff history? Just matchups, just team name wise, school wise, or would we say last year Michigan, TCU, Georgia,
No,
Ohio
like
State. No,
I
this
think
year was the biggest.
I think
Yeah.
that this was like the most entertaining. If you want to talk about just like name wise, it's not just because Washington's in it, but
Well, I'm just thinking to past years, like TCU last year, like give me Washington over TCU.
well, we had
Uh,
Georgia, Bama, Oklahoma, and like Clemson, um, and Ohio
well,
State.
that's the name
So
wise. That one's bit. That was 2019. LSU had Oklahoma round one, and then Clemson had Ohio State. And
yeah,
I
like
would say
that name
name
wise is
wise, that
probably
was
the biggest one.
definitely the biggest.
Yeah.
But in terms of matchups, like Oklahoma essentially had a 0% chance of beating LSU in that game. Like
Oh no,
essentially.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
But actually, yeah, if we're just talking names, this wasn't the biggest or most anticipated.
But I would say that the actual
yeah.
games themselves probably were the best that we have had.
So obviously we have to, well, let me I'll finish up the intro real quick. Massive weekend for the Harbaughs. Massive weekend for the Harbaughs. Okay. Ravens clinched. Niners also clinched as well. But obviously, Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines picked up their first college football playoff win. Believe they're 4.5-point favorites right now over Washington as of right now in the line. So we'll just come out and say it now. And I'm definitely not trying to jinx. Congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines for winning the 2023 College Football National Championship. They went through the most adversity a college football team has ever had to overcome. And am I making fun of Michigan? Yes, they were self-imposed sanctions. They got caught cheating, and they turned that into a spin zone that they're out to get us. We did nothing wrong, which, if I'll be honest,
hey,
shout out Harbaugh, because
all I'm saying,
I'm not sure if Ryan Day is capable of twisting that and convincing the players that the NCAA is out to get Ohio State if we got caught cheating.
All I'm saying is nobody had eyes on Connor Stallions in the last bit of that game.
Well, actually, we did have eyes on him. He was pictured in the front row with Winovich watching the game together.
Oh, was he actually there?
Yes. Or maybe it was Hutch. He was with Hutch or Winovich. They were watching together. First stand, Michigan row. I'm not sure if you also noticed this, but over the past month or so, Connor Stallions has appeared in the background of Dave Portnoy pizza videos. Like Dave Portnoy and Connor Stallions, like they're homies.
Oh no, no.
Connor Stallions is out and about. Like he's not like hiding right now from the NCAA. Like he's free. He's just out doing Connor Stallions shit.
It's just not a great look. It's not a great look for Michigan to have him just there in the front row.
Well, this is like, I don't really care. I think it's just funny. I think it's funny. To be honest, the more I learn about Connor Stallions, the more I'm afraid that I'm scarily similar to him. So like,
yeah, I mean, you and your manifesto.
Yeah, I mean, he has 550, so I made mine 551. You know, like I have to one up Connor Stallions if I ever want to become an Ohio State football coach. So like he has set the blueprint, he has set the framework, like he has laid out a path for me to become an Ohio State head football coach. I'm slightly behind the 8 ball, not going to the Navy, but there's still time for me to make up for that. There's still time. It'll be a longer path. It'll be a harder path, but there's still a path. But we'll actually talk about the game, and you know we'll talk about the winners first. Michigan, just outside look here, outside perspective. You know, even I have to admit to a degree that remove myself as an Ohio State fan. Michigan winning the national championship this year is just the best thing for the sport. Like that is just so funny. The fact that
it's hilarious.
Had self-imposed sanctions. Well, they didn't self-impose sanctions. The student body president like literally was like, cheating is okay. Like we did not do anything wrong. Like I told all my Michigan friends, plagiarize on every single thing for the rest of the year. Your fucking president of the school thinks it's okay. Like you guys are allowed to cheat now. You actually get championed and rewarded for cheating at Michigan. So I told them, fucking ramp it up, boys. They can't do anything. And they've listened. But when I think about just them, what's actually happened this year, all the shit that they've got last year, losing to TCU in probably the most embarrassing college football playoff loss ever.
Based on the way that championship game went. Yeah.
So you have that in play. The year before, I guess no one really cares, but like they got absolutely destroyed by Georgia 2 years ago in the playoff. But I mean, Georgia was Georgia that year, so it's okay. But the fact that they actually beat Alabama this year, actually did it, went down, came back in that game. I was under the impression that Michigan could not come back against a team this year.
Hey, all I'm
I'm
going to
not
say
sure if,
is,
yeah.
I almost thought I was a prophet because of the way that both games were ending. I said, first game, I said, Bama's
Well,
going to
we'll
come
get to
with
the
the lead.
second game and the what the fuck. I got one problem. I got one problem with the second game and how I think timeouts should be enforced
Well,
under the 2
I have
minute.
another problem with that game, which we'll get to it.
But yeah, we'll stay on the first one. Like I would say, considering the circumstances, like when I think of shit, the last time Ohio State played Alabama in the national championship 2020 COVID year, oh my God, I think it was like 42-14 at halftime. Like Devontae Smith,
to be fair,
was running cardio.
Justin
out
Fields
there.
didn't have ribs; his ribs were gone.
That is also true, but like that game, Ohio State was so outmatched by Alabama, and like I almost shed a tear yesterday morning. Woke up, saw a little highlight reel. Yesterday, it was 9 years to the day that Ohio State beat Alabama in the 2014 Sugar Bowl. Zeke, 85 yards through the heart of the South, probably one of the greatest moments of my life when he scored that touchdown to ice the game. I think about how I felt in 7th grade when that happened, feeling like a giddy ass little kid. Like that was the best day of my life, beating Alabama 2014. And it just hurts that those fucking Michigan fans get to feel that joy that I felt 9 years ago when I was just a little wee tot. That's what hurts the most. It's not
how have the friends of the podcast responded here, Michigan men?
they're just being vintage Michigan men. But you know, I can't even necessarily be that mad at them. Now we're gonna get into loser talk because I know that's what the Michigan fans want to hear right now. So I'll get into some loser talk for you guys because no one wants to hear me be like a humble Ohio State fan. So let's start off with this. I've never seen an easier path to a national championship in my life for Michigan. Like literally everything aligned. Like there is no greater gift in this sport for Jim Harbaugh than Alabama doing the disgrace of beating Georgia in the SEC championship game. Oh my God. They are so fucking lucky they didn't have to play Georgia. Because if I were to compare Georgia to Michigan, they're just Michigan with 5 stars everywhere. Like they're the same team, just with 5 stars everywhere. That's the difference. And obviously Alabama beat Georgia under a 14 playoff format. Georgia did not deserve to get in. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's just, God damn, that hurts knowing that they just got the easiest cakewalk possible to a national championship.
Well, could be easier because FSU could have been in there, but
true. And for any Florida State fan out there who had the audacity to say we should have been in the playoff over Alabama, come on, save yourself some pride. Like if you're a Florida State fan, you should be extremely hyped that you can just, well, you can't really claim a national championship, but you can always bitch about this for the end of time. But deep down, you know that if you had to play fucking Michigan that first round, it would not have gone your way. Okay, it would have.
You scored 3 points versus Georgia.
Yeah, and you know there's obviously other factors there too. But
true.
You would not have, even at their full strength team, like, and Jordan Travis did not get hurt. I'm saying, yeah, like give me still Michigan. But
now,
not
hey,
about Florida State. If
FSU had Miller though,
give me FSU. Yeah, I mean. Well, we will see exactly what happens in the Big Ten next year. I also just want to say it's a Big Ten national championship. I've read. Okay, Michigan, Washington. That's a Big Ten natty.
Oh my! Just came iRobot over there.
If Texas, Alabama won, it would have been an SEC natty. You got to think.
Yeah,
you got to think about these potential outlooks. But
hey, all I'm gonna say. I know we were talking about that game. Actually finish this and then I'm going to make my statement for the Texas game.
Oh yeah. Well, like I just want to say real quick, 2 last things. We'll do Michigan again real quick. I want to say, considering the very first play of the game that happened for Michigan, the interception that got called back because the defender was out of bounds, I would say that was probably one of the most impressive ways for a quarterback to respond to like the oh shit, it's happening again moment. Like last year, TCU, the oh shit, he had 2 pick sixes. They fumble on the 1 on their first drive of the game. Like it was that, oh fuck, it's happening. It was to a degree like the Chargers
No,
charging again.
From
like
that
to a
point
degree.
though, from that, I would give JJ McCarthy props. Like he locked it down.
So impressive. I was beyond impressed with JJ. Like, and obviously we're probably going to be seeing this play. This should probably win play of the year when they had that pass back. He one hand catches it, turns around, throws a dime on the rope. I'm like, what the fuck? That was straight up a backyard football play.
No laces.
Like that is one play where you're sitting there, and while it was happening in real time, I'm like, all right, he's about to throw this shit out of bounds. Like the fact that he even turned this into a non-negative play is ridiculous. And then it's just a fucking 40-yard completion. I'm just like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like that was genuinely the most unlikely completion, I think, in Rose Bowl history. Maybe I'm egregiously wrong here, and there have been way crazy, but
there's definitely
been the circumstances there of first him just having to one-hand catch it, turn around with Dallas Turner, which we also need to get into in a second, what happened after the game with Dallas Turner, and then making that throw unreal. But last thing I just want to say about Michigan, if I were to compare Jim Harbaugh to Ryan Day and how they've been able to, I guess Jim Harbaugh for starting 0-5 against Ohio State and how he's been able to turn around compared to what Ryan Day did after year one in 2019, when that was probably the most talented Ohio State team, top to bottom, I've ever seen in my life, and he came up short. Since those bad moments where shit, we need to make coaching changes, we need to make changes in the program, Michigan, although yes, Jim Harbaugh went up to John Harbaugh, started crying and said, give me all of your coaches from the Ravens, and that's how it fixed itself at Michigan. Regardless, he went and made the changes to go get his assistants and actually make a difference on the team. Ryan Day has not done that. I don't exactly want to talk about Ohio State too much, but there's going to be some coaching changes. I was hearing for that bowl prep last year. Now it is a different expectation playing in the College Football Playoff last year against Georgia versus Missouri Cotton Bowl this year. But I heard, these are all rumors, but I heard going into the Georgia game, Ohio State had around 15, 16 practices before they even got to the Peach Bowl. So obviously
it's pretty average.
Yeah. But just for the Cotton Bowl, Missouri, they had 6 practice days. And on 2 of those practice days, many of the coaches skipped it and went to a country concert.
Well, so let me just, as somebody who's been to the Cotton Bowl, let me explain how
country concert actually country concert.
Are you saying that while they were in Dallas, that's what they did? They didn't go to the practices are in the morning.
There's a lot of questions here. Maybe they were hungover from the night before and missed a practice.
This is the only thing I'm going to say.
Coaches missed practices.
The only thing I'm going to say. Only thing I'm going to say, because of the fact I have been there and I know the practice schedule. One team practices at 10 a.m. in the morning and the other one practices at noon, or at 1. So
that makes me even sadder, making me think that they were hungover the next day and skipped. That makes me even more disappointed. I just know that they had guys skip, and one of them is quarterback coach Corey Dennis, who, when I look under the lens, I've always given him his credit. He's been the quarterback coach since like 2014. But what does he do? What does he do? We give all the quarterback development credit to Ryan Day, and like
most teams, by the way,
but what does he do?
Most teams don't have an individual quarterback coach. Is typically like the OC or the head coach. Like it's not an individual.
Well, also it's just with Ryan Day there, it's like he is the quarterback coach. So
Corey, that's what I'm saying.
Now Corey is Urban Meyer's son-in-law. Okay, Corey Dennis married Urban Meyer's daughter. So, and if there's one thing I've learned about Urban Meyer, loyalty runs strong. Like he got his first job from Earl Bruce, and he is helping out the people that got him to where he is. So I understand that. But this is a new age Ohio State football program. Ryan Day is like literally on the hot seat right now for having 8 career losses in 5 years. So like, and I'm not saying that trying to like be a little like he's doing a good job, it's all flowers and dandies. I mean that like that's just the standard at Ohio State. Like it was unacceptable what he did this year. So moving forward, I expect a lot of staff changes. Like Corey Dennis, dead to me. Parker Washington, I have no idea how the fuck you're there. Our special teams coordinator, the one aspect of Ohio State that's been consistently ass since Ryan Day took over is special teams. Like the one thing under Urban Meyer that I at least could appreciate is that Urban Meyer did the special teams himself, and the special teams were always great under Urban Meyer. Like they were never bad. And so that's one thing that I do think reflects directly on Ryan Day for just allowing Parker Fleming to operate that bullshit for year after year. Get him the fuck out. Like
now I know you're going on an Ohio State rant, but we have more time to talk about Ohio State.
Let me get off it.
The last thing I want to say about this Michigan game
is Nick Saban washed?
Before we get into the next game is why you're running a QB draw RPO.
Yeah, Tommy Rees. This is also what I want.
Okay. As your last play of the game is incredibly stupid. Chad, friend of the podcast, Waterboy, all right,
all-time recurring
has said it best. Trenches win or lose you games, and when fucking Michigan was demolishing Alabama in the trenches the entire game, why you would run from 5 yards out or whatever on 4th and goal,
and that was like a 4th and 4,
4 or 5 yards. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
4 or 5 yards out. It's absolutely bewildering to me. And on top of that, did Jalen Milroe get out and get some good runs? Yes, but none of them were straight up the middle of
a lot of them were. He was doing
to the outside. He got
a lot of his runs were inside. Like I was actually kind of surprised with how Milroe was running.
It was inside.
I think if he tried to do that in the NFL, he might die. But
it was more so like an inside zone where he's cutting to the left or to the right, not directly up the center.
Well,
and
but I was just saying, like,
if he's being
I was really impressed with Milroe's mobility. How this is another thing. Like I know Alabama's tackles quite well. J.C. Latham and Caden Proctor, they're both Ohio State targets. But J.C. Latham, boy, did I expect more out of him. I thought he was going to be so much better than he was this year. And their left tackle, Caden Proctor, he's a true freshman, so he gets a slight pass. But
the thing that's still,
I had higher hopes for them. I had higher hopes for Alabama's line.
I mean, it's still to me is just, I don't know why you're running an RPO like that. And 2,
well, it was just a QB draw.
It was an RPO because he could hit.
Fucking awful play.
No,
it was Tommy Rees at its finest.
It was an RPO QB draw, and the RPO option was the running back on the swing route behind him.
Well, that sounds pretty fucking retarded, Tommy.
Wow.
That's if there's any time we can burn one of those, it's talking about Tommy Rees. Let's just say it, after the UCF game, I believe it was, that's when they benched Milroe for a game. That's when the whole length thing went around.
The USF game was the game that he was benched for.
But I was like, did you see the Reese Davis clip?
Oh, the naysayers?
My God, I just want to know what producer wrote that script. He must have been crying, laughing. Like, Reese Davis is about to read this. I'm writing this. Let a naysayer know. That was beyond funny. That was the funny. And the Pat McAfee instant reaction. A lot of people were giving Pat McAfee shit at the start of the year being on game day. He was a great addition.
He's gotten better as he's kind of came into his own when it comes to that.
Tommy Rees questionable. Nick Saban might be washed. The verdict is
next. So for the next game,
first
thing I want to say, Texas should have known they were fucked from kickoff, considering it's Pac-12 after dark. It was the final Pac-12 after
first
dark
game got delayed in OT. I was like, watch out
with the Pac-12 after dark.
And I would say in most years, they would prefer to schedule that Michigan Alabama game second.
Probably
because it's Rose Bowl. They had to get it at 2, so when the sun sets in the 4th quarter, it looks beautiful, which it did.
The picture that they got of that pregame, the flyover.
I also would you willingly sign up to be the Goodyear blimp operator for the whole college football season? Is that a dub or is that an L?
I think it probably sucks.
Probably sucks.
Probably sucks. Yeah. You know how long it takes for that thing to move?
very slow, and you have to just be up there for the whole game.
Whole game.
The entire game.
The other thing is just I think the
Can't
Rose
even
Bowl.
see the field.
I think the Rose Bowl should be the title game location
Yes.
every year. That should be the title game.
Hear
location.
this out. A 12-team playoff, but every single game is played at the Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl.
Every single one.
I just think that the Rose Bowl,
it's the granddaddy of them all for a reason.
The Rose Bowl should be the title. Like that's the title game every year. So that's where it should be played.
Going forward in 12-team, nothing's like set in stone yet. But of the New Year's 6 bowl games, the only bowl that has not formally accepted like being a playoff bowl site is the Rose Bowl. So every other one has accepted.
It should be the title game. It should be the title game.
I think so too. I'm so curious moving forward in the future, though. I'm not sure if all the New Year's 6 games will be protected playoff games.
They will be. They will. Those bowl games will be protected playoff games. Like that's the whole layout is already that way. The one thing that's like
strange.
A little bit, but I mean, I'm happy for it for obvious reasons. But just my opinion, the Rose Bowl is like quintessentially what college football is.
It's the best. It's the best game ever.
The venue, the way the game's always like it is quintessential college football.
Yeah, like this is. I have no stat to back this up, but I feel like there's about an 80 to 90% chance that game's coming down to a last drive.
The wire every year.
If we were just to think of iconic Rose Bowl games, like, of course, Texas USC. Of course. We could even think of Florida State Jameis. That was a national championship game, technically, but also the Rose Bowl when they scored in the
Was the BCS always at the Rose Bowl?
Like they had their rotating site, but like just when the Natty lined up to be a Rose Bowl year, it just meant slightly more.
NCAA, just do what you know is right and make the Rose Bowl the permanent title game.
I think it's up to the Rose Bowl to decide that. So we'll see what they want to do.
But I think the NCAA has to literally offer that as the fix in the rotation.
If they haven't offered that yet, there's
something's wrong.
That has to have been offered.
I don't know though, because they like rotating sites so much.
You're just saying the national championship.
I'm saying the literal national championship. Like that should be.
They offer them the opportunity to be a playoff game every year, but I think the Rose Bowl, and good on the Rose Bowl. They know their worth. Don't take that shit.
Yeah.
Don't take that shit.
Also, though, if the Rose Bowl never, like, if they just decide not to accept everything and they're not in the playoffs,
well, that should be illegal. That should be illegal.
That's a full-blown riot the NCAA is going to have.
Not allowed. They should not be, like, literally by law, they should not be allowed to opt out of being a bowl game anymore.
They are the bowl game.
Quick side note. It is a disservice to the sport that UCLA gets to play their home games there. Disservice to the sport. I'm not saying USC should do it either, but it's like for UCLA being in Westwood, like the amount of people we know at UCLA who it's like is a full on trip to go out to a game.
You know what I think that ideally what would happen is, I mean, USC has the Coliseum. UCLA should get their own.
They have the opportunity to build a football stadium in Westwood. They said no.
I know, but I'm saying if it worked out, that would be better. And then the only time that game, USC UCLA gets played at the neutral site, Rose Bowl.
Okay, and now you got me on board. I think at minimum going forward, because historically the Rose Bowl is a Pac-12 Big Ten championship game, so we should just do the Big Ten championship game there. Why not?
No, I agree with that.
It'll have more meaning than Indianapolis.
It would mean more if UCLA got a different stadium and it was a neutral site game for.
Oh, it's like so down.
It's so like the Cotton Bowl for the Red River rivalry.
Fuck yes. Like actually, yes.
That would be incredible. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah. I'm actually so down for that. And like, fuck it. While we're at it, like whenever USC has Notre Dame, like just play down the Rose Bowl too.
Sure. That works too. Okay. Back to Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah. We should have known.
First thing we should know. First thing I'm going to say.
I have a question for you.
Okay, you want to ask before I say this?
No. Go. I want you to say what you got to say first.
First of all, the game planning from Texas from start to finish was horrendous. We should have known when they had a dude with a club returning kickoffs. So that's the first
Bad
problem.
day of kick returning for
Horrible.
all parties.
Everybody. The other thing is, when you're going down, I think it was before they scored like that last touchdown that Texas scored. It was, I think it was 27-34. When you're going down there, they kicked an extra point to make it 28-34.
Yeah.
You have to go for two. You have to go for two there. Because if you go for two, then it's a one-score game if Washington kicks a field goal, which they did, so it still would be a one-score game. And if you miss it, it's a two-score game either way. It's either a field goal and a touchdown or two touchdowns. So there's no harm in going for two there. And the fact that they didn't go for two and they kicked.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Or kick an extra point is the whole reason why when they had to go down and kick that field goal to make it a one-score game. If they didn't do that, they can go for it there. If they get it, then they're making a touchdown to tie the game. And if they don't get it, okay, it's still a one-score game. Like it's absolutely boneheaded to me how the math there didn't add up for Texas. And on top of that, you have a guy who is literally his entire job on the staff is to advise Steve Sarkisian about what to do when it comes to points. Every team.
No, I know, but I'm like, do you know who their guy?
I don't know who it is, but whoever it is needs to be fired.
I thought you were going to make a very funny point, calling out like one Steve White, who's the guy, and just
I wish I had done that going into this, but that guy needs to be fired.
Wait, let me just take a quick look through the Texas assistants. I might be able to pick out who it is, but keep going.
That guy needs to be fired. And on top of that, Steve Sarkisian's play calling, going down to the wire, why you're hitting a swing pass in the flat with 10 seconds left is the stupidest thing I have seen a team do
Considering
ever.
how they were able to just get down the field, I was like, oh my God, they're about to win.
I was like, they're about to win this game. You should be throwing 3 fade routes to either Mitchell or Xavier Worthy. There's no
throw that bitch up to 80 Mitchell every single time.
Throw it.
Like he should have got 4 straight targets. Like literally.
Like I guarantee you, he's only letting that dude climb up his back to throw the ball away one time out of those 4 plays that would have happened.
I know recently Texas just got a very, very like major assistant, like some guy like Charlie Strong or some shit, like a former head coach who just like kind of what Lincoln did with Cliff this year. So yeah. I'm trying to find the guy. I can't exactly, but I will just say my one question for you, Everett, is do you have anything to say to Michael Penix?
No.
Okay.
I've never said he's not a good college quarterback. I have never said that.
Okay.
I have said,
I don't think I would take him in the first round if I was a team. I don't think I would. He is 20.
I have said, I don't know how he's going to do in the NFL. And that's why I don't want to draft him.
I'm just the story of Michael Penix, man. Michael Penis. God damn, man. I love this guy. I
have never said he's not an elite college quarterback. In fact, I literally stated in a TikTok that he is an elite college quarterback, but injuries, age, and throwing mechanics all are going to be kind of observable things that are going to be looked at by these scouts because those could be
if Kenny Pickett could go round 1, so can Michael.
He went to the Steelers though.
And I think he's benched. Is that confirmed? It's Rudolph's season.
I think that they asked him to back up Rudolph, and he said no.
Yeah. Well, he denied that report. So
okay.
So we don't know exactly what happened.
But I think that.
Yeah, I also just will say, Quint, like my one thought going into this game is I just was more. Now, a lot of the things we predicted kind of ended up being true. Texas way better run game than Washington. Like we expected that coming in.
Talked about the deep ball.
Washington, better receiving room than Texas. We talked about that. That ended up happening. Michael Penix, probably more consistent than Quinn Ewers. That ended up happening. And I thought Quinn Ewers, like, it's just the inconsistency. I understand why he stayed this year. Like, if Quinn Ewers were draft eligible after this game, would you take him round 1?
No.
Yeah. And so I understand
now
him
look,
coming back.
he throws a nice ball, and like I was kind of watching that a lot. Like his ball, his release
ball
is really nice, but the decision making and inconsistency is a very large problem. And the thing one of the things I'm going to do for myself, and we were joking about this, is when it comes to looking at the quarterbacks for this draft, I'm gonna watch Penix as a right-handed quarterback.
Yeah, flip
that's
the
just
screen.
Gonna be what has to happen. Flip it,
but mirror it, go the other way.
He were throwing laser beams, but also the biggest thing that you can see in every single one of his throws is he does a weird little loop.
We're talking Penix now. We're off Penix. Of
he does a little loop. He has a little hitch at the start of his throwing motion, and that ball gets so low that somebody might just get a fingertip on it, and it's fucked in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of fingertip tip passes, the fact that JJ McCarthy had a tip pass and it was still spiraling, and I was like,
no, that was.
I was sitting there. This is meant.
I was sitting there. And I was like, is JJ McCarthy going to be the quarterback I want?
Yeah. Do the Vikings? Do we have JJ our guy? Is it JJ McCarthy?
Ironically, though, the two matchups though were looking at two of the quarterbacks that the Vikings are heavily linked to, in JJ McCarthy and in Michael Penix. Like, so for me, it was watching the quarterbacks play specifically and how I thought that they would do in the NFL for the Vikings.
Like right now, what pick are you guys going to be around?
Well, right now we're 12. The highest, lowest we could be is 9.
Yeah, Yeah, we'll see what you end up doing. We'll see. I guess priority number one is Jay Jetta's up. So
yeah, and Kirk, bring him back. But we'll have its own segment for what I think the Vikings should do. But that's going to be at a later day after this next week.
Yeah, I guess last thing we could real quickly do on college football, a little preview for next week. I think Michigan's going to win. I'm not sure if it'll be easy. I don't know, but
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a high scoring, not high scoring game. I think the total is going to be high. And I do think it's going to be
Give me the over right now. I don't know what it is. Give me the over.
Give it to me. I think it's going to be a very, very good game.
Yeah,
I do legitimately think that
I actually think Washington's a more exciting matchup than Texas.
I think
maybe I'm wrong there, but
I agree with that. But I think that there's a chance Washington wins this game. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I was slightly surprised by the 4.5 point spread. I understand it. I was slightly surprised.
Well, keep in mind though, Washington's running back probably out, and that's a
will be out. He will not be
playing. Big deal.
Oh yeah,
that's a big deal.
The only thing that makes me feel okay about is because that Washington wide receiver trio, Odunze, Polk, and McMillan. Oh my god! Like Will Johnson will clamp down one of them. It could be Odunze. It could whoever the hell lines up on Will Johnson.
And you still got
he's getting clamped.
Other two.
But there's 2 other guys you got to guard still. So I'm so excited for this national championship. My Michigan friends were saying that I'd much rather play Washington in Houston than Texas in Houston, which I agree. I understand that logic. Like I get that.
Oh, I forgot one of the biggest things of the weekend. It's college football, but it's not for those 2 games.
Oh,
we have found quite literally the greatest mascot and greatest bowl game in college football history.
Oh, the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
The Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yeah, this is actually a shame we did not go over this last time. Yeah, they sacrificed a Pop-Tart on national television. They put him in a fucking man-sized, life-size toaster, and they ate him, slaughtered him like a lamb in front of national television for everyone to see.
He did consent to it, though.
Oh yeah. Well, he was like, this is an honor. Like he had like a sign being like, I am honored to be eaten.
This is dreams do come true. That's what it was.
Yeah. If I were to guess, like, we can quickly divert into this of the fun bowls of like Mayo Bowl, like Potato Bowl. Like I think
Cheese
for a
bowl,
while they had
Cheese
Bowl. I think they had a ketchup bowl for a little bit, but I'm more talking.
They have an eggnog bowl now.
Yeah,
that's the LA
one. Lincoln got dumped on that, but is the worst thing to get dumped on in like a post game win probably the Mayo Bowl, correct?
It's either mayo or eggnog. Both are egg based.
Yeah,
like thick substances.
Way worse than Gatorade. Way worse than Gatorade.
Mayo.
Yeah. and it's in your hair. Ugh. Yeah, I feel for Lincoln.
You
I
smell
feel
it.
for Lincoln. Maybe Miller might have to hit the transfer portal after pouring that shit on Lincoln. He might be
He didn't pour it. He was
that.
just standing there. He was a witness.
I know.
He's a bystander.
Yeah. I guess other side note, I did see Miller on New Year's, and yes, like there were drinks on me for what he did on Wednesday. But okay, that's kind of all I had on college football.
Okay, I've got two kind of good transitions here. And obviously we're gonna have a pretty highly dedicated college football episode going into the Natty next week. So we'll say that. But first thing I want to say, we introduced it's the first episode of 2024. Here are all of the sport related things that are set to arrive in 2024. Headlining with NCAA 2024.
Yeah,
it's coming out this year.
Like, if there's anything that can slightly make me overcome the potential, well, Michigan's gonna win the Natty. I'm already just gonna accept it now, so I don't get crushed when it happens next week. The only way that I can actually like emotionally recover from that is if that NCAA game was out right now and I go play Michigan with Ohio State and beat them like 974-0. It's the only way I could make myself feel better.
One of the other big things, obviously, we have the Olympics for this year. The Intuit Dome is coming for the Clippers. It's going to be opening finally. Now,
as a man who every once in a while, not frequently, I'll be able to drive by it. I like forget they're building that.
I've forgotten about it. I'm going to be honest.
Sick.
I've forgotten about it. It looks super
Steve
cool.
Ballmer, I mean, he puts his money where his mouth is. So like Clippers actually have a nice little fucking setup, and like I will be interested in hitting that up. So
I mean, hey, we got Copa America, we got Euro 24. Like,
you did not just shout out the fucking Copa America. You did not just do that.
But the biggest thing, the Chargers are getting a new multi-million-dollar head
coach.
So headquarters.
I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on?
They will also be getting a multi-million-dollar.
We're spending money on something? What?
Apparently, very good for recruiting year. But
recruiting
reports,
Harbaugh.
Reports.
Yeah, actually, yes. Yeah, I shouldn't be laughing.
Reports have indicated that two of the most targeted applicants for the Chargers head coaching job are one.
Targeted applicants as in Chargers targeting them, not them wanting to be. Yes. Okay.
Jim Harbaugh and Eric Bieniemy. Both former Chargers players, which, by the way, zero clue that Eric Bieniemy was a Chargers player.
I had no idea Eric Bieniemy played for the Chargers.
One other thing that I brought up before, too, that you obviously like, but I don't think it will ever manifest anything for the Chargers is Mike Vrabel's contract is technically expiring this offseason.
Chargers. I think I'm ready to announce this. Mike Vrabel will be the head coach of the New England Patriots in 2024. That is the most confident I've ever been on a coach change ever in my life.
So assuming Jim Harbaugh is in the number one
for the Chargers, yes,
for the Chargers.
I think for a lot of teams, he could also still be the number one.
Let's take him out of the picture and let's just look at everybody else. Who would be like the best next option? Bill Belichick, Eric Bieniemy.
I don't think it's Bill Belichick.
Ben Johnson, who's the Lions OC.
I think I'd be more interested in Ben Johnson than Belichick. The thing is,
Dan Quinn for
I saw that too, which I mean, I'd be okay with, but it's just like we can't hire the guy who choked a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. We can't. That's just Charger. We're just asking for more Chargers. We can't do it. Like it'd be the most Chargers shit of all time. I am hearing though, I saw some report that the Spanos family doesn't like the Chargers image as being a cheap team in LA. And it's, well, you got no one to blame but yourself for that reputation. Yeah. So that's look in the mirror, buddies. That's why you're called the cheap ass team. But Harbaugh's obviously my number one option. And you know what? We didn't quite slightly discuss this. We can quickly say that winning the Natty would increase the odds of him leaving, because what else is there to do in college?
You've accomplished everything that you can, and on top of that, the biggest knock everybody had on him was like, oh, you're gonna leave before you've done any of these things. And then guess what? He went and did
He
done those
has.
things.
Hey, even he will admit himself like that. He has been 1 foot out the door every offseason.
Going back, so this is a massive Waterboy throwback, but literally a couple of our first episodes, the Vikings were. This is when we were hiring
Harbaugh,
our head coaches, and that was the whole thing there. And that was that before or after they beat Ohio State for the first time?
They had beaten them one time at that point. Yeah. Yes.
I think that was the first year.
Yes.
And I think that the whole thing that the argument is he's done it one time, but like that's like not enough. Like that's
no. At the time, he wasn't the name he is now. Yeah.
No, but he was still a name. And in the NFL, he's always been.
He went to the fucking Super Bowl like year 2 with the Niners.
Yeah.
So yeah. Like this is the thing. I'll be honest. Like from an Ohio State perspective, I'm not very confident in Jim Harbaugh leaving the team this year. Like natty or not, I'd still. I think I'd still pick him to stay next season.
I'm going to be honest. I think that natty or not, but especially with the natty, if he doesn't leave this year, he's never leaving.
Yeah, no, that's what that's the feeling. Don't say.
But the other thing that I will say is, like I'm sure that you've seen this, but he was at Disneyland the other day with his.
That's my new favorite picture ever. Him and Saban and Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, but he was walking, and Chargers fans were there and like, "Hey, come to the Chargers," and he points at him. He kind of smiles, and as he walks away, gives a
meme Charger.
But he does that, and then he's walking away. He looks at them, smiles, and then as he's walking away, he gives a thumbs up. And then they're on a carriage ride coming through, and another person yells it out. Jim smiles again, whatever, he laughs it off. And immediately when his wife hears, "Hey, Chargers, come to LA," turns around, looks at the guy.
Wife put a bigger smile on her face.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, like this is like obviously those are the rumors floating around. I also want to say it was very interesting the timing of some reporter put out the Chargers are beginning their coach search 2 minutes after the Rose Bowl ended. Like right when the game ended. I'm not saying we're getting fucking Saban.
You would have to be. You would have to be.
Whoa! Could you imagine?
You'd have to be dumb. You'd have to be pretty dumb to think that the Chargers did not have representatives at the Rose Bowl yesterday.
100%, dude. If they didn't, that just sums up the organization right there. Like, I honestly don't expect them to have had people there. Like, also, Harbaugh just hired an NFL agent to represent him moving forward, who I think may have been like Tom Brady's representation. I don't fucking know.
I believe there's something like that.
He got an NFL agent again, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah. Okay, back to the NFL now. Yeah, okay, back to
that's still NFL. That's still NFL.
I'm honestly more interested in this GM and see who we get there, and that's one thing that I have not explored. The potential GM hires we could take. I can't say I've dove into it very much. But a big reason why I wouldn't want Bill Belichick is because he'd also be the GM. And I think that he's now at a stage in his career where he's got like 3 years of, I don't even know if he has his heart in it today. But like
even if franchise.
Yeah. So like I honestly just would not want Bill.
Now, if Mike Vrabel came to town, because he would probably also want to be the GM based on the way that shit's gone in Tennessee, would you say yes?
Yeah, I would let him do both, but I don't think he would entertain the Chargers job. Maybe I'm so stupid here. Like it is Justin Herbert that Mike Vrabel would be like, I don't care if it's the Chargers, give me that over the Patriots, but I think he's going to be the Patriots head coach.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be him, Brian Flores, or Josh McDaniels, which...
Well, Brian Flores is another name that, like, I think I would rather have him than Bill Belichick, too.
All I'm saying, this is going to be my conspiracy theory. Brian Flores intentionally threw the last 2 games so that he could be retained with the Vikings instead of another team trying to hire him.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All right? Intentionally making the defense look bad.
Actually, screw it. This is just a real... last little thing. A lot of Ohio State fans are calling for Ryan Day to be fired. Do you think he should be fired?
No, you and I both said that he needs to try not play calling first.
Yeah.
If he still is losing when
fully
he's
on
not
that with you,
calling, then yes. But I don't know.
I was thinking though, there's probably only 5 coaches I would take over Ryan Day right now. One of them's Nick Saban, who's not an option, so we're not even going to count it, but I'll still include him. I would take him over Ryan Day. Kirby Smart, that's also not an option, but I would take him over Ryan Day. Jim Harbaugh, also not an option, but if he somehow decided to become Darth Vader and is like, I'm going to become the Ohio State head coach, like, I will take you in with open arms. Others, Mike Vrabel, once again, not an actual option, but I would take him.
Might be
gladly.
if he did it this offseason, maybe.
You know, it's not a 0% chance, but I'm not saying it's more than
it's 1%. Like sub 1, but it's there.
I mean, it is a non-zero chance, but I'm not going to act like that's an option. And the only other one, which I don't think is an option this year, but down the line, yes, is Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning is essentially the only coach that would be somewhat available, even though I don't think he'd take the job this year, that I would take over Ryan Day. The only guy that actually makes sense and I think is just better than Ryan Day. That's the only one. And that's not happening. So I don't know who the alternative is. So Ryan Day is going to stay.
Okay, so there's a couple things I want to get into with the NFL. Both are going to be NFC North related. First thing I just want to say, all right, Viking season, we're not mathematically eliminated yet, but there's going to have to be a decent amount for us to be able to make the playoffs right now. So I'm never giving up hope, but I'm giving up hope. So the only positive thing, the Vikings game this last week kind of summed up my 2023. A lot of hope and then just not hope. But I will say the greatest thing I've seen this entire season, shirtless Kirk Cousins sounding off the Gillahorn.
That was a big moment for you. That was big.
That was big.
That was a good way to, in a way, kick off your new year. In a way.
I thought, well, then the preceding things that happened.
I said in a way.
But I truly thought that we were going to absolutely curb stomp the Packers after seeing that. There was no way that you were going to have Kirk Cousins come out like the WWE entrance from behind the rafters, rip his shirt off, blowing the Gillahorn, the stadium's going crazy, and then lose that game. But
yeah, you know, adds a little damper onto it. But I would think
this is a learning moment specifically for the purpose of showing how necessary a good backup quarterback is and how necessary it is to look for the future of the team after Kirk Cousins is done. And I've said that I want to re-sign Kirk Cousins and I want him to retire in Minnesota for multiple reasons. But it is very important to be able to have a good starter and a good backup behind them. And that's why, you know, it's never a bad idea to invest a lot of capital into that. And
yeah, I guess one thing that they say, most important players, quarterback, second most important players, backup quarterback. So
best job in the NFL, but
second best job in the NFL.
Behind,
well, I guess the other technically isn't a job,
not a job anymore. But the Vikings Joe Flacco was interested in signing with the Vikings before the trade deadline, and the Vikings technically were looking at him, but then they traded for Josh Dobbs, and we were all like, oh my God, Josh Dobbs is amazing. And now we're like, oh my God, Joe Flacco
was the king of the North for at least 2 weeks. He was.
Joe Flacco just is doing disgusting things, though. The other thing, this season might be the most egregious performance from referees in any sport of any year I have ever witnessed.
Oh yeah, let's get to that.
For the fact that the Lions were literally robbed on national television, not like jokingly, not like, oh, there was a bad call. Literally evidence of the ref fucking it up and then trying to cover his fuck up is disgusting. And like there have been bad calls. Like I've bitched about fucking referees running into my players and like that's bad. There is nothing that has happened that is worse than a referee making a game-altering, changing, and ending mistake and then trying to cover it up while there's evidence of it being fucked up.
Yeah. And I also feel like when you're going up against the Lions or the Titans, you need to assume that they are going for a big man touchdown. You need to assume that as a referee, because those are the teams that, they are rolling out that fucking six tackle if he is eligible.
Here's the thing. The entire game, the Lions had been reporting number 70 as game eligible, right? As
that's
eligible
not Decker, right?
No, he is 68.
68,
and they had been doing it the whole game specifically so that when they did this play, it'd be different. And that's something that Dan Campbell went through with the referees before the game. You do that. Every coach does it before the game. You explain all of the shit.
Dan Campbell seems like the type of coach where, he would never have his receiver be offsides on the last play.
No.
A Dan Campbell coach team would never.
I'm actually kind of surprised the refs still have kneecaps based on the person that Dan Campbell is. But I
love Dan Campbell so much.
He's going through and he's like, we're literally
when A&M thought they were going to get him.
Oh, that's delusion. But he's going through, he's telling the refs, we're going to report 70 as eligible all the way until we do this play. And then they're going to come up in a group and they're going to tell you. So when Taylor Decker, who's number 68, comes up, no 70 is not there. He's running up, but he's not there. All right. He's not in the pile. He's running up. He tells you, hey, I'm reporting. I'm eligible. He does the swipe. He looks at 68, right? I'm reporting. Nothing happens. He goes, play gets ran, touchdown, no flag right away. Like 30 seconds after, then flag out. Then the flag, like the ref has to be sitting there in his head. He's like, was it number 70 or was it number 68? Like
or Roger called down there. It's like, you need to throw a flag. You need to throw a flag right now. You need to throw a flag right now.
It would be Jerry. It'd be Jerry Jones that would be doing that. Not. But
I forgot.
The fact that you can't do your job
Dan Snyder.
But the fact you can't do your job and discern between two numbers, like it takes an extra 5 seconds for you to look down and look at the number. You can't just assume, hey, this is a tall dude, 70 was reporting the whole time, it's 70. You were told before the game that this is how it's working. So do your job. And to me, the fact that they were only demoted after, apparently this group has had horrible game altering calls the whole season, like missed PIs and stuff. To me, for the fact that the only punishment,
Sunday Night Football,
the only punishment being you're not in the playoffs anymore, that should have happened weeks ago. They should not be refereeing.
Care about that punishment.
I don't give a fuck. They should not be getting. They should be getting fined.
Well, this is another thing that I don't know exactly, because do they get paid by game or do they just get paid for the season? And
I'm not entirely sure, but I also think that the fact that they're part-time employees is the reason why they can't get fined.
Well, this is one thing that we were hinting at this earlier. I'm not saying I would sign up and be invested in like an off-season ref training camp program, but like I would be interested in knowing like what type of training they do. Like I think, saying this
like I said, the entrance exam should be the Des Bryant catch, no catch versus the Packers, and if you can't get it right, then you
start with that, and then they just show you 10 catches. They don't even need to be big plays. They
show you the Saints Rams PI call.
Well, those ones are egregious. I'm talking like I want to find examples of inconsequential plays that have absolutely nothing to do with the final score. There's no biases involved. You tell me,
Lane Johnson
was that a catch?
Every single play. The full starts Lane Johnson does every single play.
Jawan Taylor, like in my, like, this is the thing. Like
the Kadarius Toney offsides.
Now that one, I think the question should not be, was he offsides? Because you should know the answer. The question is, should you call that flag in a moment like that? That should be the question. And I can accept either answer, but the explanation better be fucking good. I actually can accept either answer, but you better have fucking good reasoning.
There's no accountability and there's no reliability.
That's the problem. There's no accountability.
That's the problem. And for the fact, this is like, it's been bad, and it's been bad the entire since the NFL's
just brought this up,
but I think it's gotten worse every single year to now. Like,
it is.
Last year was really bad. The year before was really bad, but the 2 years ago was better than last year, and last year is better than this.
I think what really has ramped up the poor officiating way more so in the NFL than college. Ironically, when it comes to like catches and stuff, I feel like the NFL has more problems than college.
Bad.
College is bad, but I think the biggest problem with college is the targeting, where it's just like, Oh my
I have
God.
other opinions on college referees because but yes.
Well, my biggest problem with college referees is the inconsistencies by league. Like the Big Ten, they don't call holding.
That
Big
and
12,
when it
everything is holding.
and team to team and team to
Yeah.
team.
Like there's obviously heavy biases when Ohio State. Like I know, I get it. I would just say though for the NFL, it's the inconsistency, and it seems like half the refs are like, it's an inconsequential, barely offsides, like don't penalize them. But then there are other reffing crews who any ticky tack
Well,
little
the
thing
thing is,
call.
like, you are told what ref crew you have
Just be
and how.
consistent. That's all I care
Like,
about.
here's the thing: is the ref crews themselves. Some of them individually are consistent. They're consistent in different
Yeah.
things, but you're told beforehand, hey,
Specific things to look out for.
but you're like, hey, this ref crew calls this PI call more than anybody else. Or they call holding, or they don't call holding, they don't call false starts. So then you practice with that. The issue is when you have fucking dumbasses like this ref crew, and the way that most of the season has gone, where they're not consistent week to week.
Yeah.
And they literally look like three blind mice out there, which is exactly what this crew's been.
You're being nice.
I am being nice. I'm trying to hold back the vulgarness.
That's okay.
It's not consistent, and on top of that, like the referees come in and some of these games they don't make any calls, and then when it comes to game changing, like this is do or die, this is like the biggest moments of the games. That's when they come and make the call. They make the game about them. Like that's not about you. Like I'm sure you've seen this. You've seen like the videos. It's like every time that it's like the highlight tape of the refs coming in. It's like
so what like you just brought me up was like they've recently started miking up Premier League soccer refs, and for soccer the big thing is VAR, which they recently introduced, and they now release recordings of what the refs say during their VAR check. And the most recent one that this genuinely pissed me off, and I don't care. I, at the end of the day, don't care about English soccer at all. But Man U got absolutely hosed. They had a goal called back, and they're checking for offsides, right? And so for offside soccer, like there have been many goals in the past that were bullshit and VAR should have disallowed. And so like that's why they want to put it in, because there were a lot of bullshit goals that were allowed that shouldn't have been called. But it's now getting to the point where you have dudes offsides by like literally a hand. Like they're literally just their hand, like their wrist and everything else is onside, but just that hand's off, boom, goal disallowed. It's like that wasn't the reason they created VAR, not to disallow a 1 million.
The other thing is for the account.
Real quick. In that thing, you hear the refs sitting there being like, checking for possible offsides, checking. You see they like freeze it and everything, all the frames, like, all right, this is when the ball left the player. Is he onside? And they go, the main overhead ref is sitting there and he's like, he's offsides, mate. He's offsides. And then the on-field ref is like, are you sure? I'm looking at it right now, and he looks very onsides right now. And then the overhead guy's like, call him offsides, no goal. And the on-field guy's just like, are we sure about this? Because Garnacho is clearly onsides. Are you sure we want to disallow? And the overhead operator's like, disallow the goal, no goal. And then you hear the guy like, fuck, mate, this is the wrong call. And you hear the on-field ref like, fuck, I have to do it, but I know this is wrong. But it's like, is that on-field ref, the on-field fucking ref, literally there? Is he not allowed to overrule the guy? I guess not.
Like it's different in soccer than in the NFL, but like the same thing is the NFL and the way that it works.
Is the overhead guy telling the refs on the field?
Well, for those calls and stuff, I'm just assuming that it's majority based on the on-field crew, and New York only comes down some of the time. Because my other thing I was going to say is New York, like the ref and center, pretty fucking shit. And on top of that, they should, like, the whole fucking issue, like they have the film, they have the footage of 68 coming, he's going like this. They should have come down and be like, dude, the fuck are we doing here?
And it's also
like, no.
I don't know what you think about that, because I could see a lot of problems happening if we allow refs to call a flag on review after the play. I guess they're allowed to pick up flags now.
Well, like
but
it should be the way that it works, I think, is you cannot add a flag to a
yeah,
play that's being reviewed. You can only take away.
yeah,
The other thing that I think is New York should be allowed to review everything and call back
yes.
whatever. It shouldn't be a okay, well, you know,
I think the stupidest thing we probably do is the chain gang. Like, why do we not
no,
just
yeah.
have the videos
But
confirm if
it's just also
they also have chips in the balls now. Like they can
like
just
PIs. I get not challenging PIs, but at the same time,
that
New
you
York should
can.
be able to come down and be like, that wasn't a PI. And then also the same thing with like this, where it's review will be like, hey, no, he like clearly told you, like, I don't understand what's
It's like
going
the
on here.
Rams
Like he
Saints
clearly told you.
play. They should have been able to review and be like, that was PI.
It's just they should anything that is altering should be able to be changed. And if
I
there's
think
like
the rule is if it's under 2 minutes, that's when they're allowed
that's
to
when
review
they're allowed to.
everything.
But like that's bullshit. And even then, they don't review everything. Like that was within 2 minutes. That should have been reviewed. We have the film, the footage came out on Twitter instantly.
Yeah. So
Like
there are many things. Right?
It's horrible. Like I really don't understand why it's so bad. And I also do think the fact that we have a majority of the crews are like 60 years old is another problem. Starting to get cataracts. All right, that could be an issue when you're
Like,
having to use your eyes to determine.
Once I found out that a lot of the part-time refs, like they're like lawyers, they're doctors.
They also make millions of dollars.
Great careers.
Yeah. No, like literally, if you were to offer somebody who is our age right now, who's not making millions of dollars, nothing like that, you're like, hey, we're gonna give you a full-time position in the NFL.
Like if you asked me tomorrow to ref a game, would I do a better job? Probably not. But if you gave me 3 weeks to prep, yeah.
No, you actually let me go through all the intricacies.
I think I would.
But like, if you're like, hey, instead of these guys who are now making, I don't know, they're making 3 digits right now with just the NFL salary, and they're already making millions of dollars as lawyers, doing whatever else, doctors, whatever else they're doing. If you just to offer that base salary that you're giving to these part-time guys for somebody to just be full-time, like $300K to someone just be full-time, 100% somebody would take.
1,000,000%.
Kids our age, 100% would do it. Okay. The last thing I have for today is a power rankings list for the NFL.
Let's get it going. This is a big one.
I thought that was like a.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited. You haven't done this in a minute. I'm excited right now.
Haven't done it. Haven't done it in a minute. So just remember everything is movable. But
and we just agree that the Ravens are the #1 team right now.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're about to find out why.
We're already gonna have a disagreement. All right.
We're going 10-1.
Yeah, I agree.
Chiefs, Bills, Browns, Eagles, Cowboys, Lions, Dolphins, Niners, Ravens, and the refs.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Now I understand. I think maybe I'm the crazy one here, Everett. But I think the Browns might be better than the Eagles. I think the Browns.
You know what? You know what? I will let you edit that in post.
Okay.
You can put them above. I'll accept that.
I think the Browns actually have a shot of making some noise, like getting to an
Joe
AFC
Flacco having experience going into the playoffs and playing well to me is actually like the most valuable thing for that team.
It's so crazy to think that we can go back to the Jets last year. Like Joe Flacco is a top 32 quarterback in the NFL, right?
Ironically, though, we're gonna get Lions, Rams, Stafford rematch in Detroit, but we could get.
I'm excited for that.
We could get a Browns, Ravens, Joe Flacco rematch in Baltimore,
and for that, I might be taking Cleveland. I might be taking Cleveland because it's the original game.
Gotta calm down a little bit, but
we'll see. We'll see. Things have to play out.
You can put the Browns above the Eagles. I'll accept that.
I like these Browns. I
look, honestly, based off of the shit that happened last week, the Lions and the Cowboys should be even. They should be exactly the same. But I still think that if you rematch them right now, Lions are going to win that game.
Yeah, and like this is another thing. So the Cowboys are like, do they have the tiebreaker over the Eagles? You know?
I'll look right now. In the standings, they're dead even. I gotta see. the Eagles, and they're even.
I'm sorry, you just cut out
But
slightly. What was
right
that?
now, Cowboy with the same record, Cowboys are above them. Cowboys the
Okay. Okay. So yeah, they
yes.
technically
Long
have
story
title.
short, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think just
They have a better conference record.
looking at the end of the stretch, screw it. I'll do my Super Bowl pick right now. Yeah, Ravens. I'm gonna stick with them. Be basic. Lamar's gonna do it. Both the Harbaugh brothers are gonna win natties or Super Bowls this year, and it's gonna be the year of the Harbaugh.
Okay, who's going to be the NFC team though?
This
Niners?
one I'm very, very. I want to say Niners as the safe bet.
That would be the ultimate Harbaugh.
Yeah,
year,
I really do feel like though Rams or Lions. I feel like the winner of that game at minimum. So they'll match up in a wild card. They'll play most likely the Cowboys in the next round, I think. Winner of Cowboys and whoever the 7 seed is.
Well, the Niners are the 1 seed, and the Lions right now are.
Well, I guess in theory, if the Rams beat the Lions, then the Rams would go play the Niners because they reseed in the NFL, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So okay, we'll end up seeing Zach. I think I might pick the winner of that game to go to the Super Bowl.
I still think that the Niners have had bad games, but I do think come playoff time they are very surgical in what they do.
I would say in the past, I feel like there was a good trend of years where the 1 seeds would make it. Pretty
yes,
pretty
it's still as consistent now, to be honest. But
I don't want to do that again this year. I don't want to be basic. I want to think of something a little outside the box. So I'm gonna go.
Hold on. I got an announcement.
Ravens. Okay.
I got an announcement. Referee Brad Allen and his crew, who worked the Lions Cowboys game, have been assigned to Saturday's Steelers Ravens game on ESPN.
And
which is back on national television.
Now the Steelers aren't eliminated. So I guess in theory that game has some and well, the Ravens already clinched. So in theory, shouldn't they just bench the whole team?
In theory, but it's the whole momentum idea though. That's
what Brandon Staley did last year. Look how that turned out.
Yeah.
If hurt,
but it's
not play.
It's still just the fact that they're getting. Play. It's still just the fact they're getting a national, like a primetime game, like a national.
I get what you mean. And also, you just kind of want to eliminate the Steelers, just like to have that. You know what? Actually, real quick, fun little debate at the end. Surprisingly, the Bills haven't clinched yet. I kind of thought they would. Who's gonna get these final seeds in the AFC? Houston, Indy, Pittsburgh, or Buffalo's gonna get one. But do we think Texans are gonna get in? CJ Stroud, rookie year playoff appearance. What do we think?
Who the Texans play this week? Pull that up while I'm looking at the remaining uneliminated teams.
The Texans play the Colts this week, Saturday Night Football. Big game. Win and get in.
So whoever wins this game will be in the playoffs.
Okay.
And
yeah, that answers the question for us.
Yeah. I think Texans will win that game.
Now, I think this game is in Indianapolis.
It do not matter. CJ Stroud is getting his flowers in Indianapolis that he was going to be deserved to have the other year.
Yeah, he deserves his moment in Indy. He deserves his moment in Indy.
You like that one?
I do like that, Everett.
Yep.
CJ deserves to have his moment in Indy. He's been waiting for it.
So they'll be in. The Bills, they're technically not clinched yet, but the Bills will be in. And
I actually think CJ Stroud technically has one Big Ten championship game that Justin Fields was quarterbacking in. I think technically he did win a Big Ten championship.
I think because there's 7 teams, right? Seven teams. I think we're going to see the remaining teams are going to be Bills, Jaguars, and Texans. Steelers are going to lose. Honestly, what the Ravens might do is they might knock the Steelers out of the playoffs just by basis of it. So I don't know who the Jaguars play, but loser of the Colts Texans games immediately eliminated. And I think
the Jags have the Titans on the road.
Yeah,
I could see Vrabel
the only
going uber hard.
No, yeah, Vrabel,
Even if he's on his way out, still, like, he just doesn't like to lose. Like, I can see
200 yards from Derrick Henry calling it right now.
Yeah, combined Tajay and Derrick Henry 450.
But I think the Jaguars will be it, the Bills will be it, and the Texans will be it. There is a chance somehow if the Jaguars lose and the Colts and Texans decide to tie, unlike the Raiders and the Chargers 2 years ago, that the Colts and Texans could both be. I want actually hold on. I need to find the time of that game.
No, I don't.
No. Hold on. There could be a way where if the Steelers game has already been decided and the Jaguars have lost.
It's been too long. I'm whipping up the NFL playoff machine on ESPN. It's been too fucking long.
Nope. The Houston and the Colts game is 7:15 p.m. on Saturday. So won't be happening, but was a nice thought. I wish they flexed those games though. That would have been great. Anyways, I think with that, are we good? We're good.
Yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. Slight delayed episode today. It'll still be up on Tuesday.
Yeah, you can blame Grant. Blame the unnamed intern. Actually,
straight up blame overtime Michigan. That's what really pushed this back. Overtime Michigan.
With that, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. Make sure to follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everett's Takes and at WaterboyGrant for more content. We post new TikToks every Tuesday to Sunday. So make sure to follow us there. You don't want to miss any of that. We've got a very special returning TikTok series coming back pretty damn soon. Very soon. And we post new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So make sure to follow us there. Give us a subscription, turn on notifications. We post on Instagram. We'll start reposting that again pretty soon. With that, we'll see you guys next episode. Waterboys out.